Join me in making sure that you're up to date on your adult vaccinations. When you're protected, our community is stronger.
Welcome back to Focus on Health. I have to my right Ms. Katie Howard. She is the Area Agency on Aging person, has been in that position. I'm going to let her look into this camera right here to my left and give you her position, how long she's been there, and any other information she wants to give. So Katie, if you look into that camera right there and let everybody know about you.
Hi, I'm Katie Howard. I'm the director of the River Valley Area Agency on Aging.
Located at?
We're located at 710 Front Avenue, Suite A in Columbus, Georgia. We're across from the Trade Center, and we also have an office in downtown Americus.
And if everyone wanted to contact you, how would they do it by phone? I know you have a resource center that kicks off everything for everyone. We can give
The
that
best
number.
way to call is 706-256-2900. That gets you to our ADRC, the Aging and Disability Resource Connection. They have access to a database of over 3,000 resources. Some of them are free, some of them are cost share, and probably most of them are going to be private pay where you have to pay the expense. But it is a good way to find out what is available.
And that Aging and Resource Center, that's if they really want to have information, they will call that number, and whoever's on the other end of the line, would you be able to direct them depending on what their needs are?
Yes, we can send them a list of resources. For example, if you were looking for someone to come into the home and help with personal care, we would send you a list of agencies for your particular city and county of agencies that provide home care in the home. They're not a home health agency. They don't send nurses, but they can send CNAs and people like that that can help with, in this example, personal care, but it could be a homemaker aide. It could be a lot of different things. And then it could be just a sitter, because you don't want your loved one to be by themselves. So it could be a sitter that would stay with them. And we would send you a list. We can either email it, fax it, or actually put it in the mail to you.
That seems great. Well, I'm going to let you be in control of the slides because you have a lot of really good information, Katie. And so I'm going to let you, whenever you want to go to a slide, and then I'll ask you questions, and that's how easy it is. But you've done this before, so you know.
Okay.
First slide.
First slide. This is the region that we cover, the 16 counties. We go as far north as Harris and Talbot, as far east as Dooley and Crisp, as far south as Clay County, and then our western border is the Chattahoochee River. And as I said, we have an office in Muskogee, Columbus, and one in downtown Americus in Sumter County. Next slide.
And this mission statement is pretty good. It's to create and sustain a livable community that promotes health and well-being for older adults and disabled. This will be achieved through information, education, accessibility to services and resources promoted through the Area Agency on Aging, the ADRC, Aging Disability Resource Center. And so this is really a service that if anyone needs any information about seniors, they will call the ADRC Center.
Yes. We want people to have as much information so that they can make the best choices possible. Our goal is for people to remain in their homes as long as they can safely do so. Next slide. So what exactly is an Area Agency on Aging? I used to tell people I'm with the AAA, but don't call me if you have a flat tire, because I don't know how to change my own tire. It was actually established in 1973 with a federal act. Congress passed the Older Americans Act. We're charged with helping vulnerable adults live with independence and dignity, because that's so important, the dignity part of it.
Yes.
If you live at home, but you have to have someone help you do every single thing, that's not as dignified as you might like it. If you can do at least some things for yourself, that gives you more dignity. Every AAA or Area Agency on Aging is able to adapt to the unique needs of their communities. I think everybody in this region would say that we are very different than the Atlanta region, or the Birmingham region, or the Orlando region. We feel like we're pretty unique. Even within our region, we are unique in that we have some very rural areas, and then we have Columbus, which is an urban area for the most part. So we're able to adapt to that and not just have a cookie cutter approach.
Right.
Now, in 2016, there were 622 AAAs covering virtually every community in the nation. That includes Puerto Rico and Guam. So everybody has an area agency on aging. There are 12 AAAs in Georgia, and we're the River Valley AAA. We all offer 5 core services. Nutrition, that can be Meals on Wheels, or seniors coming together at a senior center and having a hot meal. Caregiver support. Caregivers provide thousands of unpaid hours of service every year. If we as a nation had to pay for that, we'd be bankrupt in a heartbeat. But instead, we try to give support to those caregivers, give them a break, give them resources so that they can continue with what they want to do, which is to take care of their loved one. Health and wellness. It's important, if we're going to have that independent life, that we maintain our health as much as possible. And so we try to give you tools to help maintain and improve your health. Elder rights. Unfortunately, seniors are considered a vulnerable and a potential target for scams. We hear about them at least once a month, if not more often, about scams that are specifically targeting the elderly. So we work on elder rights. We have a contract with Georgia Legal Services. They can help you with things like wills, which they seem simple and very basic, but if you've ever had to deal with someone who's passed away and they don't have a will, they become very complicated. That's your way of giving your wishes about what you want done with your things. Do you want it all to go to your children? Do you want it all to go to your neighbor who's helped you all these years? We also do durable health care power of attorneys, which help while you're alive to say what you want done with your health and make your medical decisions when you're not able to make them yourself. We can get involved with landlord-tenant issues, things like that, and it's all provided at no charge. Supportive services are generally those services that are provided in the home, like homemaker aid, which is light housekeeping, personal care aid to help you take care of your body, wash your hair, take a bath, things like that. It can also be material aid. This is something that we've started since the pandemic. There are some needs that are unique to an individual. Maybe one of the examples in Columbus was we had several people on our Meals on Wheels route that didn't have doorbells. So when the volunteers showed up, they had to beat on the door. And it gives me a heart attack when somebody beats on my door. And of course, then the person has to come, and sometimes it's slow getting to the door. So they put in doorbells. So it's just this nice, pleasant chime rather than getting your door beat when you're wondering who's on the other side. That's just an example. Sometimes they've given food, they've paid for eyeglasses, they've paid for dentures in one case, things to help people live more independently.
These are all under supportive services.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, touch a little bit on caregiver support. That's support for the individuals who's caring for their loved ones.
Right.
What kind of services are provided through that?
We have 2 main programs. We have our respite program. It's an in-home respite program that is done under contract with Always Caring, formerly known as ResCare. They will send a trained aide into your home so that you, the caregiver, can take a break. That may be a break just to go get your hair done, go to the grocery store, go sit on a park bench and commune with nature, whatever it is for you to take a break.
Just to basically unstress, to be there for a set period of time.
Right, and then we also have a small program, but it's one of my favorite because it gives the most choice and flexibility for the caregiver. It's called Caregiver Time Out. This is a voucher program. You will be reimbursed up to $100 a month, and you choose the agency. If you want to go with Always Caring, if you want to go with Nightingale, if you want to go with At Home, as long as they're a licensed agency, we'll reimburse you up to $100 a month. But the really neat thing about it is you don't have to spend all $100 in a month. You could spend $25, you could spend $75, you could spend nothing and roll it over. You could actually spend all $1,200 in 1 month.
Oh, so that is neat. And that's called what now?
Caregiver Time Out.
Caregiver Time Out. Okay.
It's a small program, but it is I think it's the most flexible and gives the most choice for the caregiver that they can get who they like.
Right.
Unfortunately, with our programs, you have to use the agencies that we have contracted with. We're just not big like Medicaid that we can have a lot of different agencies providing the same service.
We go to the next slide, please. This is basically just the information that you gave out already.
Right. The 1-800 number for the ADRC, Aging and Disability Resource Connection, is 1-800-615-4379.
Can we go to the next slide, please? Home and community-based services.
These are some that we've already talked about: home delivered meals, which are also known as Meals on Wheels, homemaker services, respite, that break for the caregiver, and personal care assistance.
And the personal care assistance is help in activities of daily living.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Next slide, please.
And then the elderly and disabled waiver. This is funded by Medicaid, and it is an alternative to institutional placement. Some people with a little bit of help can live at home rather than having to go into a nursing home or a long-term care facility. So this waiver program will provide services like adult day health, where somebody leaves the home and goes to a safe setting where they're provided a meal, any kind of care that they need, and they can interact with other people. One thing COVID taught us is how social we are, how we need to be with other people, and
Right.
this is a great way to do it. Alternative living services is basically a small personal care home. It's usually going to be 10 to 12 beds. But it's when you don't need to be in a nursing home, but you can't stay at home. It's less restrictive than a nursing home. Emergency response system. These are things you can wear around your neck, on your wrist, and if you fall, for example, you can push the button and you'll get a voice that says, "Are you okay? Pops, are you okay?" And you
Right.
say, "Yeah, I'm great. It just, I tripped." Or, "I can't get up and I need you to call 911 to come help me," or call my emergency contact. So they're really good for people who live alone and maybe don't have caregivers checking on them multiple times a day. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of seniors that don't see many people every day. And so this is a really good thing for that. And
Out
then,
of homes respite.
yes, out-of-home respite is going someplace like a personal care home or even a nursing home when you don't want a stranger coming into your house to take care of your loved one. You would rather take your loved one to some facility.
Established facility.
Yes, it's a structure.
Structured family caregiver.
That's fairly new. This is one where the caregiver can actually get paid to take care of their loved one. There's a lot of requirements for this. Not everybody qualifies. But if you qualify and this is what you want to do, especially during COVID, a lot of our caregivers did not want strangers coming into the home. So this was a good alternative for them.
Consumer-directed personal support services option.
This also gives a lot more flexibility to our clients. If they choose, they can hire and fire an agency, a caregiver. Say they started with agency X and they decided they didn't like agency X, then they can go with agency Y.
Right.
But there is more work involved in this. It is not for everybody. You are approving payrolls, and that's how people get paid. You're approving timesheets. There's more work involved, but there's also more power and control for our clients if they choose to do it.
Who would be doing that? That would be the caregiver.
That would be the
caregiver.
No, that would be the client themselves, not the caregiver.
That would be the client. Suppose the client cannot do that. It's not.
Then that's not a good choice.
Then that's not
for
an
them.
option.
That's not a good choice for them.
Then it would
Some of
be
these
their-
things are good choices and some of them aren't.
Then what choice out of that list would be the one for them? Would it be the personal support services?
Yes, personal
Okay.
support, or because that's going to be like personal care or homemaker aid, things like that for people to come in the home and provide these services for you. Now keep in mind, if you need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, these programs are not for you, because no service that I know of provides that kind of care unless you're private paying. But if a little bit of help, 2 or 3 days a week, a couple of hours each time will help keep you at home independent safely, then this may be the perfect thing for you.
But they could call and get the information that you're giving through the
ADRC.
Agent and Resource Service. All right, next slide, please.
Other caregiver services are CareNet. We just had our December Christmas party CareNet. This is a regional coalition. We bring together caregivers on a quarterly basis and provide them with information and resources. And it's also a good time of fellowship. And that sometimes as a caregiver, you feel very isolated. There's nobody who knows what you're going through, but there are. The BRI Care Consultation, this is a coaching program for adults and their caregivers with health conditions. Dealing with Dementia is a one-day workshop that teaches people about proven techniques to work with someone who's a loved one who's been diagnosed with dementia.
A little bit more on the BRI Care Consultation. It's evidence-based coaching and support. This is helping caregivers be caregivers. Is that right?
It's basically giving them more tools.
Right.
I'll be honest, we have not found a lot of caregivers who want to participate in this program because it is a time commitment. And it's not a one and done thing. It's over a period of time.
But it helps them to be better caregivers.
Yes, and to take care of themselves. One thing that's really important for caregivers is they have to take care of themselves, or otherwise you're going to have two patients.
Right, we're going to take a break right now. This is a lot of really good information for caregivers because, as you know, people are aging, living longer. So you're having a lot of people who are in what's called a sandwich. They're still managing their children or grandchildren and their parents too. And so we're going to be right back right after the other end of this commercial.
Hi, I'm Rosa Evans, Director of Metro Transit System here in beautiful Columbus, Georgia. I'm in training to help with our bus operator shortage. If you're looking for a job, we would love to have you join our team of professionals. Visit our website at columbusga.gov/Metro to apply.
Welcome back to Focus on Health. I got Miss Katie Howard. She's giving a lot of good information for seniors. This is awesome, and she's awesome every time she comes. But Katie, look into that camera and just give the Aging and Resource Connection number right there so you can have it.
If you'll call 706-256-2900, a trained counselor will answer the phone. But I will tell you, I have 6 counselors. Sometimes they're all on the phone at the same time. Leave a message and we will call you back. Some people don't like leaving messages. Please leave a message.
Okay, next slide, we're going to talk about case management. Where are we at now?
We're on evidence-based programs.
Okay.
These are programs that have been proven to help people improve their health. It's all about self-empowerment. We teach you how to set goals and hold yourself accountable. There are a lot of different programs, as you can see on there, and just call us for more information and we'll give you all the details. There is a charge of $25 per program. So if you take the chronic disease self-management program by, for example, that's $25, but you're getting many hours of class service for that.
And I've taken a number of these courses. These courses are really good because it helps you. If you're a senior, a matter of balance, I've followed myself a number of times. That's an excellent class. The Tai Chi class is not about chopping woods and all, but it's really about helping your balance and dexterity. And chronic disease self-management, you know what chronic illnesses that you have. It teaches you how to manage that specific illness. So all these classes are good. And for $25, trust me, I can tell you, they're worth those classes. And so those classes are given where, Katie?
Various locations. We can do it at our office in Columbus. We can do it at a church. We can do it at a community center. As long as someone wants to do the class, we'll try to find a location near you. We do have to have a certain number of people to make the class. That's part of the evidence base, but we're going with as small as 6 people. If we can get 6 people to register for a class, we're ready to teach.
And so just keep the churches can do this here. So that would be something that would really help individuals who are seniors in your churches. Okay, let's go to case management.
Case management is a short-term case management. It's not long-term, but it's also about empowering people, assisting them with identifying and securing resources, in order to improve their well-being and help them, again, to remain in the community for as long as possible and as safely as possible.
And this is for the individual, the senior.
Right.
And I can vouch for the fact that something like this is good because every senior wants to remain in their home independent for as long as possible. Nursing home transitions.
This is another program that we're trying to help people.
Excuse me. Next slide, please. There we go. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We have two different programs. One of them is funded by Medicaid, and if Medicaid funds it, that means you have to be income eligible. The other one is funded by the state, and there's income eligibility, but it's not as strict as Medicaid. But the purpose of both programs is if somebody with a little help can be moved out of a facility into their home, then that's what we're trying to do. Our biggest barrier for this is finding affordable and accessible housing. And Columbus has more than anybody, but Columbus has more people than anybody.
Right.
We really need accessible and affordable housing.
So the first one, community transitions, is what, Medicaid?
Yes, that's the Medicaid program. It's also known as Money Follows the Person.
And the second one is
State funded,
state
yes.
funded, but you would be able to navigate someone if they were interested in that,
Right.
just by calling the resource center.
Right. Call that ADRC number and we can put you in touch with person. One thing that does happen in the nursing home, it's required to happen, is that the social workers go by to talk to every single resident to say, would you like information about moving home or moving out of the nursing home? If they do, then our staff person gets a referral and LaCarol goes out and meets with them and gives them information about what we can and can't do. Again, we can't provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week care, but we can provide some help.
Okay, senior centers. Next slide, thank you.
We have senior centers in 12 of our 16 counties. These are great places for socialization, for seniors to come together and just have fun, play games. Before COVID, we were going on field trips. We're trying to get those back going again. We offer a hot meal. It's nutritious and it's at no charge. For most of our senior centers, we're able to offer transportation. But really the most important thing when we survey our seniors is not the food. That's nice. Everybody likes food,
Right.
you know, we all like
It's
it.
a socialization.
It's the socialization
Right.
and meeting new friends. I had one senior told me that coming to the senior center literally saved her life after she was widowed.
That's awesome.
She went into a deep depression,
Right.
but the senior center helped her.
Next slide, please. Senior Farmer Market Nutrition Program.
This is something that's a partnership with Public Health and the state USDA. We're able to do this once a year. We offer, it was $30 this year, potentially it's $50 next year, worth of fresh vegetables to seniors. You have to be 60 and above, and you have to fill out an application. If you just show up, it takes longer. But we do them in every county, and of course we do multiple ones in Columbus. We try to do them at some of the senior housing places because not all of those have transportation.
Great. Next slide, please.
This is our Older Americans Month celebration that we have every year. May is Older Americans Month. We started out at Peachtree Mall and we really outgrew it, and so we moved to the Trade Center. And it was a lot of fun. Pop sang karaoke for us.
I
It
sure
was
did.
great. And we have a partnership with the Better Business Bureau. You have to come and hear this guy who's our MC. He is so funny and everybody loves him. Now, of course, with COVID, we did not bring everybody back together again. We've had drive-through resource fairs, but cross your fingers, we are planning to be in person first Friday in May at the Trade Center.
That's awesome. Now, this next topic, next slide, assistive technology. We're going to go quickly through this here because I'm going to invite you back so that you can bring some of the items. Right. Assistive technology is awesome. I had a huge problem putting my socks on, but there is a device for that. There's a device for if you're sitting in a chair, how we have to go 1, 2, 3, and lurch forward with our arms. There's something for that. So we can just quickly elaborate on that. Katie, I appreciate.
This can go from the simple to the kind of complicated, but again, like Pop says, it helps us to live healthy, independent lives. Some of it is so simple, and I wish I had thought of it. You know, the squeeze balls, the stress
Right.
balls you get? Somebody was smart, drilled a hole in it, you put a pencil in it, and so now if somebody doesn't have those fine motor skills, maybe because of a stroke, they just hold the ball and they write.
That's awesome.
So brilliant.
That's
and there's other
awesome.
things like that. And then there are some more sophisticated things with tablets and what have you to help even people that are having trouble with speech. The tablet will speak for you. So we do have an assistive technology lab to try out some things. We don't have everything on the market. It's impossible, but we have a lot. But we do ask that you call to schedule a time for it, not just show up, because you might have to wait for a little while, and we hate to keep people waiting.
And if you would look into that camera and give them that number again, I appreciate it.
706-256-2900.
And that is if you have any information on any of the things that we spoke about,
Yes.
they can get. And as you can see, the Area Agency on Aging has so many things for seniors. As a senior citizen, my wife and I have had to use services. So many individuals I have sent there. There are a welcome resource. They have so many things to help us to be able to age in place. As seniors, we don't want to have to go to a long-range care, but as you've seen from the marvelous presentation that Katie gave, there's so many alternatives that we can have. And so, Katie, I want to just thank you again. You're going to have to come back for the assistive technology.
Sure.
And there are a lot of things that we spoke about. And so I know the individuals are going to be calling
That'd be
for this.
great.
I would like for you, when you're going to have the fair or the farmer's market, to send me a flyer.
Okay.
Or for us to be able to do something like this to let individuals know.
Sure.
And I just want to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule. And Katie covered so much and elaborated on so much. It's just been a blessing. So as I always say at the end of each program, please remember that everybody is somebody's loved one, and that includes you as well. And so until next time, please be good and kind to yourself, because God loves you. Bye-bye now.